Join me today as I go through my stash and work out what my next few projects will be, with the goal of organising everything and stash busting. Hi everyone, it's Steph and welcome to another video. Here are my after photos. I didn't do any before photos because it looks exactly the same, just without the ugly brown tags. Embarrassingly, I haven't actually ever gone through my stash and I'm pretty sure it's accumulated to a sable. I didn't make that up, but bless whoever did, as it accurately describes all my craft stuff. This is about 1/25 of my entire stash and I'll be going through most of it. I'm not going to show you all of it today. The aim is to pick out at least 3 projects that are 100% from my stash, where I don't have to buy anything. I'm just busting through my stash. Stay to the end where I share the 8 projects that are coming up that I organised from going through my stash, and I'm sharing everything with you today. So this is my big box of crochet cotton. Some of it is left over from what was given to me by a friend of my mum's, and I made a heap of ocean themed placemats from this, and these placemats have been used almost constantly since I made them. Plus I may have purchased a little bit more, and also my niece gave me quite a few that she had also purchased but hadn't used. So immediately I'm thinking more placemats and maybe a matching table runner. So I'm just organising them into rough colour groups because they're all just a little bit different. And the first thing I'm thinking is spring colours. They look so pretty and bright and cheerful that I'm thinking it will be a really lovely table setting. So here's the ocean themed placemats that I made about 1.5 years ago, and they're literally been used to death. There is a little bit of wear and tear on them in some places, but apart from that, they're still absolutely perfect and usable. So I've decided that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull out some of the colours that I want, but also I've had a little bit of an idea. A while back I bought some cotton mop yarn that I was going to use in a wall hanging, but the colour ended up being very different in real life than what I thought it was on my computer screen when I ordered it. So I just remembered that I had it, so I rummaged around, found them, and here they are. And I think they will be absolutely lovely as a weft for this project. So project number 1 is a table setting, which is going to be a table runner and matching placemats. This is where I keep all of my scrap yarn. So that's yarn that I've wound off shuttles after the project, or the last little bit on a cone. And every so often when that basket gets filled, I like to do a scrap yarn project. So I'll do towels where I wind a warp of all black or all white, and then just put all of these different colours in. It's a great way to use up all of that scrap yarn. This bag is filled with all of the offcuts from weaving projects, and I've got an idea of sewing them all together for a blanket one day, putting all of the wool together and all of the cotton together. So I'm saving all of these offcuts here. This basket is where I keep all of the trimmings, so they're the bits that I trim off the ends of projects. This makes great stuffing for things like cushions or pet beds. I'm probably at that stage where I need to use it up, but not right now. So if you've followed me for a while, the stuff in this box might be familiar. I did a sample video not that long ago. Actually, I think it was last winter, our winter, so June or July, where I used all of these bits and pieces. Some of them are commercial yarn, some of them are hand spun, for the purpose of weaving material to sew into a jumper. So weaving the fabric and then sewing it into a jumper for my oldest son. So I'm definitely going to do that. So this is another project I'm going to put aside and get done. This box has all of my offcuts of old clothing and strips and fabrics that I've used previously in rag rugs. Here is one I did not that long ago. I definitely want to do another rag rug, however, not just yet. Embarrassingly, I cannot even remember what is in this package. I haven't even opened it. It's from Bendigo Woolen Mills, and I could not remember anything about it until I opened it and saw the yarn, and then I remembered. This is Whisper, which is a beautiful merino yarn from Bendigo Woolen Mills. It is super soft. One's in navy and the other one's I think called Snowflake. And I remember that I was going to weave a twill rug with this, and obviously life and other things happened and I didn't even open the package, so that is definitely a project that's going to happen. So there are a few other bits and pieces in this box, and I'll just sort these out and pop them into other boxes, but we are definitely at another project, so a twill blanket coming up on the channel. This box is filled with old needle felting supplies and bits and pieces. I did have a vague idea once of weaving a ground cloth and then doing needle felting on top like a scenery, but that's definitely a project for another time. This box has some but not all of my wall hanging supplies and bits and pieces, but also I've got these Texole cords here that I bought because I wanted to upgrade my loom from the plastic ties on the apron rod to the Texole. So that's definitely something that's coming up. I'm going to move everything from this little box into a larger box that has all the other wall hanging supplies. So I've just got all of my wall hanging supplies in the one box. And embarrassingly, yes, this is all the stuff that I've bought for wall hangings, and I'm going to have to use these up at some stage, but not yet. This box has a lot of my hand spun yarn. I was a spinner and a knitter for a long time before I was a weaver. I will use these up at some stage, but not yet. This box has some unwashed raw wool. There's some Corriedale and also some merino that's yet to be processed, and I have more in this box as well. Plus I've got all of the things that I use to process the raw fibre, like my wash bags, and I've also got these 2 kilos of alpaca to process. Ideally I'd love to get all of that done this winter, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I also have a heap of cardboard cones in this box, and to be honest, I'm not sure why I kept them, but I'm going to pull them all out, pop them in a bag and donate them to my local kindergarten. I don't know if anybody else has one of these pot holder looms as well. I still have pot holders that I use today that I've woven on these little looms. They're great fun. So this box I'm going to dedicate to raw fibre and all my wash bags, with a view to processing at least a couple of kilos of it this winter. This box has a lot of commercially prepared fibre top, plus some bamboo and other bits and pieces that I use to card up together and blend and then spin into yarn. I have a lot of it, but that's a project for another day. This box is filled to the brim with mostly commercial yarn wool and a little bit of hand spun. So I'm just going to go through this and then probably put it all back. I really need to get to all of this. There is just so much here that I'm actually feeling a little bit embarrassed about how much I actually have, especially when you consider I live in Brisbane and our winters do not last very long. And whilst we do get some cool nights, but very rarely do we get cold days. So I have so much wool, I don't know what to do with a lot of it. There are some memories here, however, that have made me smile, and in this box is the leftover yarn from when I made the dog jackets, which was a lot of fun. This box is a real hodgepodge of bits and pieces. I found some more commercial yarn and also found some offcuts from that disastrous flat cap that I made. I'll keep those bits and pieces to sew into that blanket, but I also found some more raw wool. This one I think is English Leicester. This box has all of my silk bits and pieces, and I have a lot of ideas in my head of how to use this silk, but it just hasn't solidified into a proper project. This is the recycled sari silk yarn. That's always really good as a feature, plus some sari silk strips as well. I also found that Ito Kino silk that I used for the Dreaming of Autumn scarf. I'd like to reuse that for something else, and I've got a couple of ideas, but I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to make with it just yet. This box is filled with projects that I've made and it hasn't gone further. This is purple handspun sari silk, which is beautiful. Here is some twill fabric that I made on the Rigid Heddle Loom with wool. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with these fabrics as yet. Sometimes I just like to weave something just to see how it looks, and then I don't really have an idea of what to use the fabric for, so it kind of just goes into this box. Also, I've got a heap of inkle loom straps that I've made where I've just made them because I wanted to, not because I actually had a project for them. Although I do remember rashly promising my younger son to make him some suspenders one day. This box has more hand spun yarn and this beautiful sunset inspired yarn. I remember now that I blended it and spun it up to make a vest of wool, or sometimes called a waistcoat for my younger son for him to wear to work, and yeah, that's definitely going to be a project. This wool is ridiculously soft and so beautiful. I also have a similar one here that I blended and spun as well. Orange is my son's favorite color, which is why I've got these yarns here. So I'm definitely going to do that. Actually, what I'm going to do is transfer all of my needle felting supplies from this little box into a big box, so I can put this as a project box aside with the other projects. I'm pretty sure I bought a pattern for this as well, so I'll have to rummage around and find that. So new project coming up, a woven men's vest, sometimes called a waistcoat. Also in this box I found some beautiful 100% silk yarn that I forgot that I'd had. So this is 8-ply mulberry silk that I bought years ago, I think from Nundle Woolen Mills, and also I have this merino silk blend, which is a 50-50 blend from Nundle Woolen Mills as well. This will look so pretty hand dyed, maybe in some pastel colours and then woven into a nice top. So that's definitely a project, but for another time. This box has some sample weaves that I've done in the past just to see how things look and feel, and I haven't really had a project in mind for them, so I'm going to pull all of these out and put them with the woven fabrics box. This is a real trip down memory lane, and some of these samples and the things that I've woven up just to see how they look. This box has a lot of my specialty cottons that I've bought and used. Some of them for the table runner, like a boucle. That pink one was definitely the boucle that I wove in that table runner. And also some other yarn here that I actually have no idea what it is. I think a lot of these were given to me, so I'm just sorting them out into other boxes. Some of these are mercerized cotton, some of these are cotolins, as well as other stuff that I've had left over from other projects. This is my stash of recycled cotton from Ada Fibres. These are big 500 gram cones. Plus I've got a heap of tencel in this box and also some Ven's Eco Jeans yarn, and I've just suddenly had a little bit of an idea that this yarn would be, they come in fairly bright colours, and I've got these little 50 gram tubes of pretty much all of the colours that they come in, and I'm thinking this would be perfect for napkins to match the table runner and the placemats. So that's really exciting, and I'm going to pop that with the crochet cotton and the mop yarn for the table setting. I'm so excited about this project. This is my stash of 8-2 cotton plus tencel that I'm just popping in its own box, but I'm keeping the recycled yarn out to one side because I know there's more in another box and I've got a bit of an idea for a project. This is my box full of 8-4 cotton. I won't go through it, but I have a lot of it. Then I found the box that has the rest of the recycled cotton in it from Ada Fibres. This has been discontinued, which is such a shame. When it was discontinued from Thread Collective, I actually brought up big and bought a heap of it because it's just such a great yarn to work with. I think it's a 5-2 cotton, and I'm now thinking about making some clothes with it, like a top and a pair of trousers. And this yarn goes so far because they're really big 500 gram tubes. And you can see I've used a fair bit of it already from them, but I just pulled out some colors that I think go together, and I'll have to find a pattern in my pattern stash, but definitely going to do matching woven top and pants. So I got so excited and rushed off to my pattern stash and found a pattern that I think will work really nicely with this. And it's an easy sew pattern, which is great. So this little package here is a bit of a surprise that I will share later. But whilst I was in my patterns, I found the vest pattern that I want to use for the vest or waistcoat that I'm going to make for my younger son. So here are the next 8 projects that will be coming up on the channel, and I really hope you enjoyed this different kind of content. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, and if you've got any ideas that I didn't have for any of the projects listed. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. If you found this video helpful or amusing, please hit that like button, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you for all your kind comments and your support, and we'll see you in the next video.